Boggs.
Here.
Trustee Davis.
Here.
Trustee Hinkleman is absent. Trustee Krugman. Here. And Trustee Valier.
Here.
And we have a quorum. Clerk is here, the treasurer is here, and the town manager is here.
You know. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stop our agenda list today. If you notice the date on that, everybody like to change that to the 13th, where it says March 13th, 2014, so March 6th. And then to the 13th. It was actually posted March 2nd. It was up all that time, wasn't that, Shannon?
Yes, it was.
So we don't have to change that date, but we do have to change the top date. Today is the 13th. Okay. First item on the agenda is
I'll second that.
motion to accept, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Treasurer's report. Got that copy of the financial in front of them, people want to add something to that?
Yeah, on the bills to be paid in the month of March, I need to add two of those, check number 3281, Conrad, for the garbage disposal, $49.50, and that's for 3 months. And then I'm doing check number 3282 to Daniel Boggs, which is to replace his June check. So we're just replacing that check. It kind of was a lost check, but found, so. And they're only good for 90 days, so we're just replacing that check, is all we're doing.
And that would be $26.20.
Nope, it's for 4367, it was wrote June 6th of 13, check number 3073. It was made paid besides
Oh,
2
that's right.
meetings.
4367.
Yeah.
Got it.
It was filled 4 times.
It's just a combination of things, so,
Well, it was filled in October. I had it back there. It was 4 different fills.
That brings us up to.
Yeah, they never ever sent us submissions.
Gotcha, okay.
That's why that's so hard.
A lot of snow removal. Think of Ellen?
No, it's just a
Motion to approve the financial.
I see. And all second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Hey, you have anything with nothing? Nothing? changed some wording in our pay period ordinance. All it basically says, only thing that changed was wage shape. Basically, all it says is it's going from the first regularly scheduled board meeting of each month to the next scheduled board meeting of each month is your pay period. It's no more June 1st to June 31st or June 30th or whatever it is. It's board meeting to board meeting. And do we need to take a vote on that, on full vote or?
For passing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have
Should we take a roll call on that?
to, do you have a copy of the ordinance?
You should have one.
Yeah, I do, you. So what we changed was just saying it's from
Yeah, we already passed this ordinance
month,
before.
it's month by month, it's not just a specific date like I had before.
No, it's not month by month. It's pay period. Scheduled board meeting, regular scheduled board meeting of the month, to the first regular scheduled board meeting of the next.
So section one about what we changed.
Yeah, not a big one.
You can do it, and then you guys sign it. Or the date? The date, yeah.
Oh,
You still have to change that.
We can actually change it in the pen initial, so we can move it forward. And then we just change it on the file.
So I've got it over.
Everybody can change their own individual copy, but one has one file.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sean's gonna take a roll call. or-
At this time, I make a motion that we accept ordinance number 2014-03, an ordinance of Village of Cleveland setting forth provisions for set pay period. Just give me a second.
I second that.
Start with trustee Krogman,
Yes.
trustee Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Lincoln is absent, trustee Gallagher,
Yes.
Mr. Comagino is absent, and trustee Boggs,
Yes.
and Mayor Wyman. Ayes, carried.
Do we need to strike this and have everybody initial on this? or-
If you want us to, we can, on the,
This would be together right here.
oh, that's,
Yeah, that's the
So
good one.
probably initial, right, write your name.
initial the line. Yeah.
business. Anybody want to bring anything off the table?
I have a few things. Let's start with Kelowna Food Pantry. You'd asked me to find out about Kelowna Food Pantry because we've always given them an annual donation. I went and met with them. As most of you know, Hazel has done that for probably 50 years, and she passed away. So they kind of dropped the ball on asking for those donations because they didn't have anybody to replace Hazel. They now do. They now have a new director. Her name is Janice Miller. And I said, I'm going to talk with Janice and Audrey. And she said they would love any donations they can get. They would like food donations, money donations, time, clothing donations. And she gave me this P.O. box where to send a check to if I'm making a donation. And then that goes to the township, and the township reimburses it back to, specifically to the food pantry. I just want to let you check to So anyway, Janice, if you have any questions in the future, just let her know. She's going to try to get correspondence going again regularly, but they were forced to move out of their previous location. They're down in the community center on the other side of Kelowna now. And it's been a lot of transition for them, so they're lacking in correspondence. That's all you need. And if you want to bring donations directly down to them, as far as food or clothing, or if you want to give me your time, just let Janice know. I'll meet her. She's there the first, second, third, and fourth Wednesday of the month from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Any questions on that?
I was just gonna ask you, anybody feel like we have to put this like on next month's agenda?
It's actually been on the agenda. We're gonna act on it tonight. I make a motion that we set it on $100.
Maybe this fall, we can see before the, basket.
Before the fall, 3 baskets in the Christmas season. I think that's a great idea.
We missed last fall.
Yeah, and she said they've missed out on a lot of donations because of his
We
passing
did
away.
the food basket though, didn't we, last week?
I think they did, no, they didn't actually do the food, they didn't do the Christmas food baskets. The Kelowna Legion did food baskets, but the food pantry didn't because they were just in such a transition, she said.
So we do like $100 now, I just need more motion for it, and maybe donate this
Something in the fall,
This
just
fall.
put it back on the agenda later this fall.
Do you have a second on that? Sam Moore? Motion and a second, $100 to the Kelowna Food Pantry. Yeah, what's the roll call?
Trustee Valier,
Yes.
trustee Krogman,
Yes.
trustee Davis,
Yes.
trustee Boggs. Motion is carried.
And the second piece of, this is not really old business, just to bring up to date, because I am the FOIA officer and the OMA officer, I just wanted to bring everybody up to date that to date this year, we've had one FOIA request that was immediately fulfilled. And I just finally got back an OMA request for review. They're starting to answer some of the ones from last May. And we just got this one back a couple weeks ago. It was an OMA request for review, 1213 PAC 25125. And it's in regards to an alleged OMA violation of a meeting that was held on a Saturday that was, quote, unreasonable and inconvenient to the public. And it reads, Dear Mr. Lindell, Ms. Duncan, and Village Board. This determination letter is issued pursuant to Section 3.5E of the Open Meetings Act, OMA 5 ILCS 120/3.5E. For the reasons set forth below, the Public Access Bureau concludes that the special meeting of the Village of Cleveland Board of Trustees held on May 4, 2013 at 8 a.m. did not violate any of the requirements of OMA. There's 4 pages of all the reasons why and everything, and all the details. If anybody would like a copy of this, I'll make you one after the meeting. But again, that meeting was perfectly legal and proper.
Sure.
Then we have one question. In my packet, I have a letter from the Village of Cleveland to the State Hygienic Lab, and a copy of a bill for the State Hygienic Lab. Maybe Sean, if you could elaborate on that. Okay, so it has been determined this was not our bill, and that's why it shows, so it shows now to the city of Cleveland from the state hygienic lab, 0 charges and 0 payments. They hold an account balance of $670, but not towards the village of Newton. Because I wasn't clear, I just got stuff on my mailbox the other day. So I guess that's resolved.
No, probably not, but we send a letter saying we're not paying that bill, and if they want to know anything else, they need to talk to Gray, and
Well, this is an invoice back to us saying that we don't owe anything, it says 0 charges to the village of Cleveland, so I would say it is resolved.
On the culverts, I don't even know if you can see it yet, so we're gonna have to wait till next month on that.
you want to bring this backhoe tractor up?
Me, I'll be lower, sure. Water pedals. You want to talk about it? Go ahead. I didn't know looking at them all. So we're making decisions. You got the paperwork.
One of the industry's got a backhoe. Bill was kind of looking at. I'm gonna bring it off the table. Well, I know it's all business. It's been all business.
No, it's just an agenda, it's just old business, new business,
Martin Industries has a 41G backhoe, or 410G backhoe for sale, used backhoe. We've talked about this before, trade the tractor in on backhoe. We've got some prices on what the tractor would bring. It would, right at 18 trade-in for the tractor.
I'm looking at 54.5 on the machine.
4,500 for the
Before trade-in?
backhoe. Might be a $100,000 machine right here.
So they offered 18 on trade, we're gonna pursue other options before we agree to.
Right,
18.
with permission, or we'll take a vote to the board, we'd like to take the tractor off and see what it might bring out. And the ordinance here would come up, in case we want to do that. Taking this piece of equipment to the auction, remind you, if we take it to the auction and the auction doesn't go that high as that 18, we do not have to accept that 18.
Right,
Whatever
we
we
would put
bid.
in a reserve number saying we're not going to take no less than X amount of dollars.
Sign that we can get a piece of equipment that the village can use instead of that tractor, which is only good for spreading salt. I'm not very good at that, because I have a cab. And I know because I froze my buns off a couple times this year spreading that stuff. And the salt spreader broke the last time I used it. That's why I haven't been using it. Well, that and I broke my leg, it's the reason I haven't been used since. And to get rid of the tractor, we have no use for the rear cut, rough cut rear deck, or the rear blade. So those four items, you can take over, see what they can bring, say, we do not have to accept their bids, but if, they would bring more than we can get, trading, then we can also beat them down on that 54.5 at the price on that. Might not have. Kind of up for discussion, does anybody have anything they'd like to comment?
Yeah, where's those funds coming from?
Well, that's where we should have put the low appropriation, or oversight on my part.
We're gonna do a one-time appropriation issue for that.
But we do not have equipment on there for appropriation. The building and grounds, I don't see that, I thought we did too. Category, we're putting that building around and equipment. Get to that point. We wanna take this backhoe and move it down to number 12 for right now, especially after appropriation. Kinda is, but we get a couple of other things out of the way first. I'll go like the good.
Is there anybody sitting on the board right now that's absolutely opposed to the possibility of trading that tractor or selling that tractor and buying a different piece of equipment? Nobody's opposed?
You're opposed to it?
We looked at that in the past and wanted to get away from this.
I know I missed one earlier this year because, couldn't get it to the board.
Yeah.
And it was a really good deal, it was steep. And we don't have this one secured, so if we would happen to get a bid on that tractor and what have you, get a decent price on it, even if this one here slipped through our fingers beforehand, we could put that money back into the bank, into that appropriated slot. Right off the bat, we gotta do some work on Main and Broadway. It should have been done 5 years ago, 10 years ago. There's a sinkhole over there, I think there's a sinkhole on top of the hill. And these things need to be fixed, and right off the bat, if we fix them ourselves, we can save ourselves a bunch of money right there. We can use this thing, fix some ditches, drainage problems. And if we don't want it after that, we can always turn around, resell it, probably not losing that. That goes over the price.
Well, I'm not opposed to selling that tractor no matter what, because
Yeah.
it's not being used, and it's rusting apart, the tires were flat,
Right.
I noticed today, and.
I don't know for sure what year it is, it's like an 06, it's got 171 hours on it, how much has it been used?
Exactly.
And
I noticed
those
it yesterday, it was
171 hours
rusty.
probably were not used for village work, but we're not gonna go into that part.
Well, I say we get some money into this appropriations ordinance anticipating that kind of transaction.
If you add equipment to buildings and grounds,
Can
you
we do
have
that,
enough
can we add
there.
building grounds and?
Well, since we're not having.
You can still change it to whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, this is just a guideline, we don't have to accept it, but we could actually combine Little Ground and Rock River, since Rock River's not gonna have an issue, we make that a 50,000 more, and not change the whole number. However you want to do it, or we could just add to the building and ground, and put equipment with it. Since we're not having Rock River, we could actually take all that into that
That's true.
35.
Combine those two numbers and delete that title. Delete that heading record and combine those two amounts and that will cover. transaction.
And it's still give us money in that, in case we want to put a new roof on the garage or something like that.
Well, I'm not opposed to that.
And in the long run, it'll save us money. It's gonna cost us a little bit right out of the get-go. It's gonna save us money down the road. I'll be able to do some of these things ourselves.
We can use it for 1 or 2 years, get all these things taken care of in the next couple of summer seasons, like you said, we can turn around and rest them. It's just, it's not gonna be.
So we're looking for a motion to plan on the appropriation?
Well, I guess, I don't know, I think we'll probably start with a motion to try to liquidate, the tractor and its accessories,
One right in front of the other, whichever way, I don't care which.
and use that money toward a purchase of a backhoe.
We're gonna have to come up, buildings and grounds, if we're gonna put the equipment with, it's gonna have to come up around 65,
That's what I'm.
70,000.
So,
So you have some left over.
why don't we move this backhoe down to number 12, right? Let's put backhoe
Then
back
you
on
don't have to
number
raise
12.
building and grounds that much.
Okay, let's go to, anything else on old business?
I have one thing. MediaCom,
Yeah.
when I called them to switch things, now they're offering a 1-year contract, but it goes up $10 to $99 for 89. So do you wanna do a 1-year contract, or do we voted on a 3-year contract? For 89, 95, or something like that.
I don't know, we really need 1 year.
No, I just, but after, well, we wouldn't have to get rid of them after a
Yeah, I
year.
saw
It would
them.
just, it would be open.
If we want it.
After a year, we would not renew the contract.
Right, and then they definitely can't.
Well,
Technically, they could.
sure, so I
Okay, so
thought,
right now, we are at 89 on a 3-year contract.
yes,
And locked in.
for 3 years. Well, but see, if the rates change, we're subject to rates change anyway. We're not really locked in, but we got fine print in here. The rates are subject to change at any time, just like everything else. We're not predicting a rate change, that's what I mean.
Well, the
Yeah, I
other
saw
option, the
this.
only other option we have would be to, go back to AT&T and look what it is.
Well, no, but see, the only thing is, you know, I didn't know how everybody felt about being locked into a contract for 3 years. You know, you get locked in for 3 years, if the rates change, then you're, you know, subjected to stay at that rate regardless.
Just pick one.
Are we done with AT&T now?
Just about.
They said there's still AT&T on
I
February.
wanted to inform you guys what they put before me when I started finalizing things. Yeah, so, you know, you guys just say go with 3-year, that's fine, and I'll switch to mine. So 1 year, and it's $10 more for 1 year vote.
Let's do the 3.
It's
It's gonna be here anyway, right? We don't have it.
Well, yeah, I don't see us, you know, doing anything different, but, you know, it's not my decision to make, so.
So I see on here it says a leave on 5 months, and that's, so when we finally.
It's because we didn't get a bill.
I know it's been a nightmare.
Yeah.
So now we're back to work today, and we're up to speed with them. I can usually just do a 3-year contract.
You,
Yeah, we already,
we already did that.
Yes.
We don't really actually need to pass that.
No.
We passed it last.
yeah.
So we're gonna stay with 3-year plan.
And then go to the AT&T meeting,
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay.
I've not took any amount of two terms and stuff on there.
They didn't, he was doing it to the post office.
Okay, under new business. Our mower has been delivered. They held true to the past amount, given an hour.
I haven't received a bill.
So, you know, that's the whole tree has been delivered, the old one's been picked up, it's in the garage. We've already passed the approval of $800 to spend to trade that and update it. Unless Anybody has any comments on that? Let's go to the next item. We have a letter from Henry County about animal control. We have animal control currently covered under our agreement with Columbia, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so,
So we got another ordinance we need to pass this evening. You should have that. Oh, wait, that's the one. I'm sorry. Yeah, the animal control is in with the police protection in Kelowna.
well, I don't see why we want to pay for it twice. Henry County's offering us a plan too. I don't know why we want to set this one for everything. On it, it's covering our $600. For Henry County's, plan, it bills you by case and by however long it takes them and what, I don't know why.
So Henry County just contacted us out of the blue saying, hey, we don't have a contract with you guys, do you want our
Right.
services?
Right.
So our reply to them should be enough, thank you, not this time, we have services.
All we have to do-
Right, I thought I included the email conversation back and forth. No, that's okay. It's, if Cleveland utilizes the service of Kelowna, then there would be no need to approve the agreement for services from Henry County unless you choose to do something different. But I don't see any reason why we pay Kelowna the $600, it's not gonna go in.
Yeah.
They have some crazy prices that they're quoting in this letter, so, yeah.
You see what got our agreement with Columbia on the
Yes, and that is just the renewal, we're gonna do that. It's like she just says renewal.
I think what you ought to do, get everybody get a copy of this, and the next one you consider.
And we had a copy
Oh,
of
you
it,
did?
yeah, as of the March 6th meeting, I made sure everyone has a copy. So,
I will, okay. It's just, not really on the agenda.
it's not.
No, it's
Oh, yeah, the animal
control.
control agreement.
Yeah, I think you ought to have that put on the agenda in the next meeting.
Yeah, this is part of our animal control and animal police protection. Everybody doesn't have one, you probably ought to have one before they leave, and they look over. And we're on this one.
We got police protection, one in it, to provide animal control services. Well, that's in Henry County.
Yeah. I don't know why that's an animal control, but
All right. Police
I should
protection.
have one, and we'll put it on next month's agenda.
What happened to the one from last year? Did we never ever get that return from Attorney Blush? He's the last person who had that.
I never got
Yeah,
anything.
We
nothing.
never got anything back from him, none of our calls, none of our paperwork, no, any response?
Just the one that, when I got the one check from him before you guys.
So, we still don't have a written agreement with the village of
You may
Solon?
very have when they have a copy, I'm sure they give you a copy.
Well, when I went and talked to Susie Rokar a few months ago, she told me that she didn't have a signed one, she was still waiting for the signed one to come back from Mr. Plasek, and that she had told
Well,
me
I-
several times to get it, so are we sitting with no contract with them?
Well, evidently they've been living with the terms of whatever it says in that one or what you have. Because if you haven't had any difficulties I'm aware of, this is your opportunity to resolve it, rather than go backwards. This is. I know what you're saying, but
That's what I'm asking, do we? I don't know, I can go back and talk to Susie.
I know, I've received my copies.
So we're starting over again today.
We'll make sure we have that on next month's agenda. Maybe we can get rid of it.
It's been working.
It's been working pretty good. It's been good.
Okay, so we're gonna put this on next month's agenda.
Is there anybody that doesn't have one? Dan, do you have one?
Okay.
Brian, you can get one.
paid, or did we agree to pay that?
Lisa,
We agreed to pay that, right?
is it on the financials? That's part of the
I thought it was a couple
insurance,
months.
isn't it?
Thought this was your deal.
Isn't this the court membership?
Yeah. And we agreed to pay that.
The guy told me about being that much.
That's about right.
No, this should be for the whole village, because
Well, it is.
we get, yeah, it's not just for me.
But it needs pay, right?
I believe I gave the original bill to Lisa.
Which one are you?
Because all I have is a copy.
It's not been paid, it wasn't on the financials. I make a motion that we pay the membership invoice for the Illinois Municipal League membership dues, for $141.
Second.
Do a roll call vote on that? Trustee Boggs?
Yes.
Trustee Davis?
Yes.
Trustee Krugman?
Yes.
Trustee Valier?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried.
Should have been under our financial. Sorry, Sean, I missed that. Okay. All right, guys, pen and crunch numbers. You wanna go down the items one at a time?
Okay.
How do we wanna do it?
I'm thinking the only one that we can mess with is the Rock River, we can take 10 out of there. And if you're gonna leave equipment separate from buildings and grounds, we could probably take 5 off of there easy.
You wanna make equipment a separate item?
Well, I thought that's what we did, put it on item 12 earlier.
No, I put that on back on item 12 on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Leave it up to you how you want, I thought maybe we'd do appropriations before we did. We put our talks on a whole.
I say you take 10 on the Rock the River Fund.
Mhm.
That the fundraiser there is not benefiting anybody in the village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna leave that completely off this time, or you wanna take 10 off of it?
Let's leave it on. Take 10 off of it.
So we're gonna come, equipment.
Yeah, we should leave equipment separate. Yeah, I think so.
Salaries we can't monkey with. Office supplies, it's normal. Utilities, cleaning. Professional transportation, insurance.
So we're gonna create a new
Mhm.
subcategory of equipment. And put how much in there?
We better have 60, I would say 60, 65 in there,
5,000.
but, you know. Yeah. So that we don't just deplete it right away.
What comes off the fill, if you fill the
You
tractor.
put in wherever
Put
you
back,
took that
back
out.
category.
So that brings our subtotal to 135,400. Take 10. That's 65, right? Take 10 off, we're gonna
What are you saying for-
70,000.
What are you saying for equipment, Steve?
65,000.
65,
69.
So we take 10 off of there,
5 off there, or, you know, take 10
10
outside.
off of there, we make that 74,
Mhm.
and we add 65, it makes it 135,400.
Okay.
Brian, you have anything? Anything different? Dan, you think anything different?
And then this number's gotta change over here, 135,240 is.
Okay, you want me to read them off, or does everybody pretty much have it?
Wouldn't hurt.
Okay. Equipment, 65,000. Salaries, 10,000. Office expenses and supplies, 2,000. Utilities, 8,000. Cleaning, 700. Professional services, 3,000. Contribution, 800. Insurance, 5,000. Buildings and grounds, 35,000. Drop the River fundraiser, 5,000. Printing and publishing, 500. Miscellaneous, 400. Gives a grand total of what, 135,400?
135,400.
135,400.
And go to page 2. You carry those numbers down, and your total annual appropriations would be 190,240. Instead of 135,240, it'd be 190,240. No, it wouldn't, yeah, it would. 190,240. Right, Shawna? You doing the same math I'm on?
Yep. That's exactly it.
Okay.
Anybody have any comments on any of this? Anything they don't like, anything they do like? Mr. Erickson?
I just have a question, is that an increase in the appropriation for same, or what is it?
Increase.
Increased by how much?
55.
65. Oh, no, 55, 55,000.
Okay, thank you.
The new subcategory of equipment. And then what's the rules and guidelines about increasing it by more than a certain percentage? I can't remember off the top of my head.
So about as far as, over 5% without public hearing, but I think you're talking about the levy. This comes, this is the appropriation, this is your wish list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how's it gonna affect the levy?
You shouldn't.
You can only levy so much in tax.
And the levy's different.
Well, we've already discussed it. Okay, so we need a motion to accept the appropriation ordinance.
If you guys are happy with it.
Everybody happy with the changes just aforementioned and the date change on the paperwork? I make a motion that we accept the annual appropriation ordinance number 2014-0313, is that right?
Dash 13.
Okay.
You could take the other 5 off.
we have a second?
You wanna change something else?
My second.
Motion by Sherry, second by Dan Bob.
10 off of that. 10.
And trustee Valier,
Yes.
trustee Davis,
Yes.
trustee Krugman,
Yes.
trustee Boggs.
Yes.
Do you want me to put you on this, Mayor Waterman?
I confirm, yes.
Thank you. The motion is carried.
Okay. This the one I need to sign for?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
this is
have
got the correct
to,
date.
I'll have to change page 1 and page 2, but page 3 is good to go.
Okay. Now, back to discussion on tobacco. We have money appropriated for it. That'd be item 12 on our list today. Do they have any idea how long this is gonna be available, Steve? They still haven't,
He's holding it for me.
he's still holding it for you? You gonna give us a crack at it? Okay, did he give you a date as to how long?
No.
Do we wanna go ahead and purchase this hoe, or before we try to sell our equipment, we wanna sell our equipment first and then know what we have for it?
We know about what it's gonna be, and we're not done dealing yet, so.
Well, if I understand you correctly, if we don't sell the equipment at the auction, he's already given you a number of what he'll trade in for it. Or if it doesn't sell for more than that auction, we will reserve that reserve number, and if it sells for more, then we get a little bit more money to add to the kitty.
It'd be nice if it sold for a little more, then we can also try to cut the price on that hoe a little bit by a cash deal instead of a trade-in deal.
Mm-hmm. I say we move forward with taking it to the auction and see what happens, with the understanding that we do have a reserve number of, what is it, 18.5?
Yeah, there's a bunch of numbers there.
I don't have any numbers of them, well, I guess it does.
We talked to different people.
Well, I guess we have to adopt this ordinance tonight too, don't we?
Yeah.
Or we should try to adopt this ordinance this evening. Maybe the whole thing.
Did everybody get a chance to read this ordinance?
I trust Graham's opinion. We just gotta give it a number.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Okay, Mr. I have no idea what number we put on it.
Well,
Why-
I just gave the.
I have another question. Why were we buying and selling equipment before without an ordinance? We didn't have an ordinance prior to today?
Something about trading it in, didn't you say if you trade it, you don't?
I said, what I'm saying is when you're supposed to have an ordinance anytime you sell personal property declaring it surplus. That's by statute. I don't know what was going on prior to this, but
Nobody does, Graham,
Yeah.
trust me.
Yeah. It's a good question, right?
Well, prior to purchasing the tractor that we're thinking about selling now, didn't we have a smaller tractor here that was sold to another resident in the village of Cleveland? We did that without an ordinance?
Yeah.
Nice.
Do we need a number on this? It's not gonna be very,
I don't care whether they have a number on it, it's still gonna be an ordinance that uses if you pass it, but she can always assign a number afterwards to it too,
Okay.
so.
Well, I've read through it and I don't see anything. So this is just specifically for this one transaction? Okay.
That's what you're declaring surplus.
yeah. Let's change item number 1 to 5403, just for the hell of it. No, it's out in the class 5, it's 5403.
Oh, the tractor's at 5403.
Is that what it is? I didn't know.
Motion to accept the ordinance on selling of excess equipment that we no longer use or have a use for.
Second?
I'll
Dan
second.
Boggs is a second. This time we gotta take a roll call too.
Trustee Krugman?
I just have one question.
Okay.
Under section 3, if we don't sell it to Nordstrom, there's no remedy specifically written here.
No. They come back for you guys to decide what you wanna do with it, because it isn't sold.
Okay, so then we have to come back again and say, okay, now we're gonna trade it.
Trade it or
Write
whatever you're
another
gonna do,
ordinance to
yeah.
trade it. Okay,
This is just for the surplus of the selling.
okay, gotcha. Yes, I say yes.
Okay. Trustee Boggs?
Yes.
Trustee Davis?
Yes.
Trustee Valier?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Motion to close.
Well,
Oh, shit.
do you want,
my Lord.
you wanna put, they're gonna wait till after the auction, we hold it that long? Okay, as long as they hold it that long, then, yeah, we can.
So it's 20. 22nd and the 21st. So, do we probably need to set up some kind of meeting immediately after that, if we don't trade or not, because we're gonna need, if we don't trade, if we don't get it auctioned off, and they still decide they wanna buy the backhoe, we gotta get back together on that as soon as
Well, that's what I was
possible.
wondering if you
Because
want-
you know, those backhoes don't, we learned that the other time, they don't sit around long.
Right, we done last one. Well, I was wondering if you wanted to set like the,
Or when's the
we
next board
could-
meeting? That doesn't even make sense, because the next board meeting would be, it'd be 2 weeks later, that's still
Be
2
2
weeks.
yes. What I'm just looking at. We could set up like, something like a high dollar amount. If we can get this deal closed for less than 35 or less, do we wanna let them do it? If this tractor and stuff sells for enough, we can close this deal for under 35 or under. So we want to,
You can do that tonight. You can do it right now, just approve the right check, approve the buy and load, or however it's gonna work out. We'll either trade it at the end, what's the price that they're giving us, or we'll have the X amount of dollars to put towards it.
Okay, we're all in agreement, we're not buying a backhoe until after we've disposed of the tractor in one way or the other. The tractor's
It'll
either
either be traded
going to
or
auction
sold.
or it's getting traded in on the deal of the backhoe. We're not gonna be sitting holding the bag on the tractor after,
Right.
after buying the backhoe, okay?
It's gonna be one way or the
All
other.
right. And I'm in.
The other thing, you're gonna have to make money.
Mm-hmm,
Obviously,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
maybe we'll see how this auction goes and try to set the meeting
Mm-hmm,
the following week and
mm-hmm,
move money and everything on
mm-hmm.
it.
Have a special meeting just for the purpose of taking care of this equipment
If
exchange.
you have a special meeting, make sure that she gives the proper notices to the trust, because they aren't here.
Yeah, but she was
Yeah.
told.
She
last
was,
one.
yeah,
This
she's,
is new one.
But I will, yeah,
Right, right.
not a problem. We can send Lisa an email or
Absolutely.
call her or whatever. I've got her, all the phone numbers.
Yeah, just,
Mm-hmm.
and posting, of course.
yeah, absolutely.
Anything else?
I don't have anything.
what? You're done?
More, but I'll save it for next month. Well, I have to get caught up in this.
Motion to close.
Hold it.
We got Jim White back there with his hand up.
I got an article in the newspaper talking about the Rock River floodplain in Henry County apparently will get bigger. The Plan Development Chairman for the county board told members Thursday that a draft floodplain map from the Illinois State Water Survey adds land in Kelowna and Cleveland and other parts of the county along the Rock River to the floodplain. I just
Yep.
wonder if you guys are aware of that, if that affects the village of Cleveland or not. 'Cause I
That's
had-
everybody down here.
They were
Cause I,
supposed to be
well, I had a
sending
resident tell me that
something.
his, flood insurance doubled here within the last couple of months. So is that gonna happen to everybody? Everybody's floodplain and
Pretty
They-
flood
much.
insurance
it
gonna
hasn't-
double?
It's still in the Senate, Jim, as far as the flood insurance. As far as FEMA changed their maps, yep, they're spread their maps bigger and wider. You're now, if you live in Kelowna, you're anything lower than Fourth Street, you are in the floodplain now.
Well, that seemed like it's kinda important. I just wondered if you guys are gonna put that on the
We
agenda. to talk
don't
about
have
this.
anything,
I was contacted by him,
All your insurance companies are gonna contact
Send
you.
us something.
and as soon as he's supposed to send me some information, and I haven't received it yet, so
Yeah.
until he sends it to me, I don't know what to put up.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Who's gonna send that to you?
Don't ask me his name, I got it at home.
Well, the organization is FEMA?
Yeah,
yeah.
it was through FEMA, yeah, and they called me on the phone.
I don't think
the
they're
other
done
day.
drawing, from what I understand, Jim, they're not done drawing their lines yet. They've drawn some in Kelowna. And I
Right.
know that because I have a house that I'm getting ready to list, and they just got a notice that they are now in the floodplain, they have to purchase flood insurance, and it's put that deal to a standstill, because they don't even know how to deal with it at all.
Sure.
They have to get an elevation certification and all kinds of fun stuff. So FEMA is on the move, they're broadening,
And they're supposed to
their
send us information
boundaries.
as they're finishing it.
but I checked with my insurance company this morning and asked them to contact the portion that's controlled by FEMA as far as the flood insurance part of my homeowner's insurance, and she called me back and said it's in motion, but they haven't finished drawing the lines here in this part of Henry County. They're done with Kelowna, they got those lines drawn. And again, if you live below Fourth Street, you are now in the floodplain, cause
What
I have a
FEMA
house on Fifth Street.
One thing FEMA did tell me when I saw him on the phone is he did not think it was gonna affect us. The village of Cleveland was not gonna get affected much
Well,
by
they've
anything.
pushed our lines back about as far as they can.
Right,
And
and
one
he said
thing-
he didn't think we was gonna get affected, but if we did, he would send us information on it and what it.
It could, the only people I see that could affect that aren't already in the floodplain and know they're in the floodplain is maybe Tammy and Russ Quillen, if theirs is still not floodplain, and Terry Comodine, and if she was here tonight, she would probably know more about that since it's her property, but, you know, I know where the lines are drawn now, and those are probably about the only two houses that aren't included in that.
So do
There's
you
also
Gary?
been recent legislation to subsidize the rates for FEMA,
Yes,
so.
but it hasn't passed through the Senate yet, not as of yesterday anyway. What FEMA's proposing to do is to double our flood insurance, but do it over a 5-year period, 20% at a time over a 5-year period. Some people already got the slap down and got theirs doubled, that's been rescinded now, they'll be getting refunds. But they do have to pay, but we're all gonna get slapped with a 20%
Is there
increase.
anything the village can do to stop that? I mean, is there a reason for an increase in the insurance rate?
FEMA feels like it, and FEMA's got, they gotta recover. They've had just catastrophic flooding all over them, and there's nothing we can do. We really can't, and there's nothing we can do.
Has that 20% been passed, Chair?
Not to my, it's at the Senate, on the table at the Senate right now, but not to my knowledge, not unless it happened today.
Okay,
Because we were in real estate continuing education classes all last week, and our people at the top of our real estate association were in Des Moines, they were in Springfield, they were at these meetings trying to hash it out, because FEMA just came in a few months ago and just started arbitrarily slinging out bills for, we've doubled your flood insurance paid immediately. Now, I didn't get one, but I do know some people who have in our community and other communities, but now that's been rescinded. The you know, Congress and the Senate say, no, you cannot, you can't do that. We're gonna back you up at least one step. We can't stop you from doubling it, but you can't do it overnight. So they're trying to propose a 5-year plan for over the next 5 years, 20% a year. But yeah, it'll be doubled. In 5 years, we'll be paying double what we're paying today.
Well, if you have that balance, you probably need to get that out to the
And
residents.
my insurance agent was down today measuring my yard and my house, and I saw someone else's insurance agent at their house, because I went out, my insurance agent was out in the street talking to another one, and I went out and asked him, who is this? And he said, oh, he's an insurance agent from Allstate for so-and-so, And so they're on the move. They're measuring our houses, they're measuring our yards. If you don't see them out there and don't know it, you're not gonna know they're doing it, but they're out doing it right now because they need to know, you know, they want every penny they can get. So if your house is 15 more square feet than they thought it was 2 years ago, there's another increase for them, and they're looking at lot lines and everything. They were out today, because I went out,
Everybody's gonna
I ran out to the
do
road to ask them what they were doing, and one guy said, well, hi, I'm so-and-so from your insurance company, and I've been sent out to measure your house and check your square footage, and we're checking the lot lines and property and.
You weren't notified by them?
Huh?
You weren't notified by them? They
No.
just came out?
No, my dogs were barking, and there were 2 cars out on the road, out by the church, and so they were there for a long period of time. And I saw him out there running his little wheel and going around my yard, and I said, hey, who are you, what are you doing? And he told me, and I said, well, who's the other fellow you were talking to? Because he took off and went the other way. And he was measuring another residence where nobody was home, and he said, well, he's from such and such of Allstate Insurance, and they're doing the same thing we're doing. I said, well, why are we doing this today? I mean, you guys measured my house and my insurance when I bought the house 7 years ago. So we just gotta make sure all of our numbers are correct because there's some increases and some new legislation. I said, so this is all about the FEMA thing, and he just shook his head. What can we do? Nothing.
No.
You know, what
No,
can we do?
you're right.
You know,
No, you're right, nothing.
we just can't.
Nothing.
You know, and like I said, I've got some people in Kelowna who now, you know, are now like, well, geez, you know, we can't put our house on the market this week because we don't know what to do. We don't know nothing about flood insurance. We don't know how to fight this. They're, you know, they were told, they just called their insurance company they needed to know how much their yearly insurance was so I could put on the form, because they didn't even know how much they were paying. They said it's part of their escrow. I said, well, I need to know that while we're listing the house. That set the wheels in motion for them to find out from their insurance agent that they are now in the floodplain. There's a kind of a crooked line on 5th Street that goes through, zigzags between 5th and 6th Street in Kelowna, but that's the new line, and their house is on 5th and, it's about 5th Street and 3rd Avenue, places where you wouldn't think you'd need flood insurance.
Ms. Quillen, are you in the floodplain?
I don't know, I just needed to ask the question because.
Do you play
had
flood?
mentioned Tammy and Russell Quillen.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Well, I don't know about you. Do you pay flood insurance now?
no, we
No.
never had flood insurance when we lived where Russell and Tammy are living.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think that they did, and I don't think that Ms. Comodina's house was currently in the floodplain, but those lines might be changed. That's why I'm saying theirs would be 2, and perhaps yours. You're not in the floodplain either?
No,
Or you just weren't paying flood insurance because you don't have to because you own your home? Do you make, I mean, it's not my business if you don't make house payments, if you own your home free and clear, you don't have to talk to FEMA anymore. You can tell them that you don't want it.
I don't think I'm in floodplain.
You may not be, you're probably, you
Not
may
to
not
my
have
knowledge,
been, but
I don't think you, at least to my knowledge, you don't carry flood insurance.
No,
But, and I don't recall it being in the floodplain. Last time I looked at your properties for when your husband was getting mortgages in one area, it wasn't in the floodplain
And
at
also
that time.
the
And
house that.
by the way,
she's
FEMA
showing up
explained
there,
it.
I don't know those people.
They will let us know if any of that changes.
It's changing.
And they're supposed to let us know if it's gonna change. If their new boundary lines incorporate you into their flood line, they're supposed to let us know. And as soon as they let us know, I mean, we will tell anybody that's.
Yeah, as soon as I can get my hands on a map, I will gladly make copies for everybody. I mean, we already all know we're in the floodplain. As far as I know, everybody's paying flood insurance, they know you're in the floodplain. If you have a mortgage on your house, you have to pay flood insurance. If you don't have a mortgage on your house, it's up to you to decide whether you want to
that's
carry
an
flood
electric
insurance or
thing,
not.
right?
Because the flood insurance really covers your mortgage company. If your house gets damaged, they get their money no matter what first. So, yeah, it's gonna get ugly. But like I said, all of us, except like I said, the Quillens and you, Miss Quillen, and then, I'm sorry, the people, they bought one of that Judy Davis's rental house, right?
Jim,
Right in
you're
her
not-
driveway.
the one I used to own.
The one out front, yeah. And perhaps, previously I don't think you four were in the floodplain, but you may end up being in it now. I haven't seen a new map yet.
We don't know, and we won't know until we get word from them.
I'm trying to find it out as fast as I can because, you know,
You're not in the floodplain in your new house, is it, Jim? Everything, even your new house? Well, I thought your new house was above it.
well, they're expanded. They're expanded there. And it's not just us, it's not close, it's not just
That
every
means
county.
everything.
It's nationwide, it's from coast to coast, guys. It's money, it's all about money. Because anybody who knows, even to be able to afford flood insurance, you have to carry a $5,000 deductible.
Do you want to
And
keep
you
that in
know,
your
what's in
file
any of our
somewhere?
basements that's worth more than $5,000? You know, basically, we're gonna get water damage in our basement.
Put it in there in the office.
The only way it's of any advantage is if your house actually gets knocked off of its foundation and sent down the river, then it'll cover it, up to a certain value. But I'll let you guys,
Motion to
anything I
close
find
this
out, I will let you guys know as soon as I know. I'm watching it daily, we're conversing, as realtors, we're conversing with everybody daily, trying to find out what's new, but to my knowledge, it's on the Senate's desk, and they're still trying to back FEMA up, but backing them up is just a delaying tactic. It's gonna happen, it's just not gonna happen in one fell swoop, which is what FEMA tried to do. And I know that they did that to a few people. A few people got notices a few months ago that your flood insurance is now $3,750. Pay it immediately.
Any other, it's open to the public, anybody?
I'm just curious if you guys know when you're gonna take the request to disconnect off the table and.
Oh, yeah, we didn't get that this month, we was trying to get other things done. Try to address that again next month, Jim, all right? Anything else?
We got ice about to move. Just keep your neighbor in mind if there's a problem developing, make sure your neighbor knows.
I'm gonna put up on the sign, flood warning, you know, whatever, something.
Oh, yeah.
Anything special you want to put there. I
Texas
don't know.
neighbors.
According to the NOAA map this
Yeah.
afternoon, I was watching the NOAA radar, we're supposed to crest tonight. And it's supposed to maintain for the next 10 days, but then we're gonna be on the rise again.
It all depends on
What they were showing.
Well, the timing of the ice break would be the factor with
Well, and that's the thing, and the ice is, the majority of the ice out there is 18 inches thick or more.
Just want to remind everybody
Oh,
else,
you can have it.
there's
It's
an
pretty
election
green.
Tuesday.
It was
Oh, yeah.
supposed to go
We'll be
with
setting up
March,
the hall this
see?
weekend for the election.
Because it's
Tuesday,
Irish.
Luck of the Irish,
General
right?
primary election.
Green.
Remind everybody to vote who wants to.
If you know anybody that's having flood issue problems and they need help, call anybody on the board, we'll get in and help them. The back road is
You're all right.
gonna be impassable
It's like
another
bumper
day
cars.
if the water climbs. Brenda and the fish camp and Brenda and my son are flooded out right now. They can't drive, they can't get to their houses. My son's wading, he's wading in. It's waist deep right now in the lanes. We offered Brenda and Travis a couple days ago to help them out and get some things out of there. Travis said, "No, I'm good, but now the water, overnight that water came up 3 feet down there. So, if it gets to a point to where we're gonna have an issue crossing this low spot again, we're all gonna be dependent on somebody with a big tractor to get us across so we can go to work. So there was 3 days last spring that 3 or 4 days that we were wading through that. I'm not gonna wade through 30-degree water right now, so I'm hoping somebody's gonna get us through there.
Mm.
That water travels fast. Huh?
Get
Or
on the
a
tractor.
backhoe.
Yeah. We just lift you up in the bucket and hold you way above the water.
It's like a single man bucket, isn't it?
And the grapple.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember, there were several days we couldn't get across that.
Oh, yeah.
It was deep.
I remember
waded
seeing
through
you
it.
and
It was-
Evan
it was-
and-
It was
yeah.
waist deep on me and it was scary. It was,
Yeah.
that water moves fast.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I waded through it once.
I don't
Brian
wanna
was
wade- I
having
don't
trouble
wanna
with water.
I don't wanna
can't
wade
remember.
through it when it's 35 degrees. It was cold enough last May when we were doing it.
Well,
That it?
nobody has anything else. Steve, I'm waiting for you.
Motion to adjourn.
I ain't saying anything, I've said it twice. Let her go
Do I have
on.
a second?
You people be
All
late
right.
for work.
All opposed?
Let her